but she sent me to the office. She wasn't going to put up with it. And Mrs. Hughes gave me a little lecture, and I went back and had to apologize to my mother, which I don't think I had ever done. I remember that. And my mother taught me typing one year, which is probably the best class I've ever taken anywhere. Because now when my secretary isn't working, I can type a letter or an invoice without hunting and pecking. I can type just fine.
Remember, there was a Mardi Gras. We didn't get out of school for Mardi Gras, but we skipped. Remember?
The one day I skipped, I got caught.
And well, I remember one time we skipped and we were Mardi Gras, we didn't do our homework. The entire class did not do their homework. But remember that time, who did she pick out? Remember, it was the science teacher, I don't remember her name.
Mrs. Winberg?
No, it was the lady we had, no, she wasn't science. It was in the newer building they had put at the time. But she sent Trey and I to the office. And we were so baffled. I remember sitting in there.
We should know better.
And I remember asking the question, why were we the only two? And they said, well, you're expected to set an example and blah, blah, blah. I remember
We've been here all our lives.
Yes, we've been here for all our lives and all that kind of stuff. But what's funny was the principal told us the story about how he in high school had skipped for Mardi Gras and stood in front of the Channel 10.
Got caught on TV.
Got taught on TV because the principal at the time was watching the television, or somebody saw him and caught him. So he really didn't discipline us much. He just kind of said, okay, sit here a half hour and go on back. But
well, that's quite a different story than what Trey's stepfather told recently. He wanted to go to the circus, or the circus was in town in Mobile. And he came to school, and the teacher said, well, didn't you, I'm not telling as well as your stepfather told you, but didn't you want to go to the circus? And Reed said, well, yes, but I really would rather come to school. And the teacher said, the circus is a very good learning experience. Can you still catch up with your group and go? And he said, yes, but you see, there again, your attitude had changed. Mardi Gras is a very good experience. And I'm sure if Mrs. Johnson was alive today, she would say, I want you all to experience Mardi Gras, just be careful. So that's another example of the deterioration of the thinking, and of course that comes from poor leadership. How did you, from here into going into college, what kind of problems did you encounter that you might blame your lack of foundation in the organic school to?
My problem with going to college from organic was going from such a small student body to 15,000 students. I was just, I couldn't take it all in. I wanted to take it all in, and I tried to. There was always something to do with somebody. Too many activities that I had not learned how to say no to. Because I was at a small school, there wasn't that much to do. A small town, and I guess that had a little bit to do with it. But I think that would be one of the problems I had with going to organic. Very small student body.
Don't you think maybe then we should look at our schools of higher learning and perhaps see that maybe the schools are not so large? Junior colleges, I think, are filling some of that need.
Yeah.
How about you, Pagan? What was your reaction?
well, I didn't go to a school that was quite that big. Birmingham Southern is where I started. And however, the sizes, I still did not feel in ways that in some ways I fit in, because I did not have socially the public school experience. And these kids were a little more worldly because of that. I was not worldly. And that because of that, I never really felt like I was so much a part of them or the class a lot of the times. I always felt like an outsider. The following year I went to UAB, but I found my niche. I was in the department that I really loved there, and it was a small department, and so it didn't bother me that the rest of the school was huge too much. But I do think the smaller classes, we were so comfortable in them. We had so much freedom to be ourselves that we didn't necessarily learn how to conform with the masses in a lot of ways, and that's a difficulty. That's where it's probably very good I am not working for somebody else, because I have worked for other people in the past, but it also was in a loose structure. I would not do well. I've turned down a job at an insurance company once, and people were very upset with me because they spent time on me doing tests to see if I could do all the stuff. And they kept saying, "You don't want the job?" And I just realized I could not work in an office building from 9 to 5 at a desk all day. It just, didn't appeal to me. I needed to be out and doing and working with people. That was one thing. We had a great array of people, don't you think, at school? From every economic and social background, just about, at the time.
Well, I don't believe either one of you have told exactly what you're doing today. What are you doing, Pagan?
I am a co-owner of a dance studio in town. I'm the ballet director. And I teach the ballet classes. My partner teaches the jazz, and we have other people who teach the other classes. And in the fall, I produce with my advanced dancers, a performance of good quality that we bring in to school kids. It's been very successful. And it's not far from here.
I'm an electrical contractor in Mobile.
You're in your own business,
Yes.
which was your father's.
Technically, no. He closed his company and I started my own.
But your father was in the same business.
Yes, he was a
and
electrical
your grandfather
contractor.
too. In fact, your grandfather, one of his first big contracts was to do the first tunnel.
Bankhead Tunnel. And then we did the auditorium in Mobile and some other buildings. Well, the company did, I didn't.
Are you happy in being on your own trade, your own business?
Yes, I am. I've been in business 3 years. It's difficult getting started. Having some things to overcome that I didn't know I'd have to overcome. And every day it's a challenge, big challenge.
One of the things at the school we had to learn to do on a daily basis is make do. The school didn't have much. And if we needed something, we had to find a way of do around it if it wasn't there. And that has probably helped me a lot in my being in the art world. And it's probably helped you in business too.
I have to be creative daily somehow. Not making something necessarily with my hands, but I have to be creative. Financing different things, how to get material to a job site when there's no trucks around. Got to think of different things to do.
Oh, yeah.
What would you like changed in education today for your children?
Changed?
Yes.
I don't know how you can change it, but they need more money in the school system.
Do you think money is the answer?
Right now, yes. Yeah, Baldwin County school system, I understand, is pretty good. It's okay financially. Mobile is about to fall apart. The state might take it over. I heard on the news recently that there's some school system somewhere else in the country, they've laid off a lot of teachers because nobody's willing to pay more taxes for the teachers. They've got a 60-to-1 ratio. That's terrible. You can't learn like that. I think right now money is the answer.
It is, and it needs not only money, but it needs to be have some check and balances on it, so it's spent correctly and it doesn't go all to
It
administration,
has to
which
be
is part of
fiscally
Mobile's
responsible.
problem.
Somebody has
Right,
to
exactly.
spend the money properly, but
And there are a lot of new, great programs in education, and a lot of schools in different parts of the country are applying them. Again, that comes to funding. Yeah, right. We're in Baldwin County, on a whole, we're lucky, but the primary reason is the fact that it's not as large and it hasn't gotten out of hand. However, we have a large population coming in. If they don't get some long-range planning, it could eventually be somewhat the same situation. It's kind of a thing with my child, yearly I will observe, but as far as the teachers, you can get a good teacher or a bad teacher in any school, private or public. And you just have to kind of watch it from year to year and then just decide what is the best situation for your child. I would hope that she's always in a class that doesn't exceed the federal mandate for that age level. I think some of those are even high by my standards, but I come from a very small school where I think was it no more than 21 in the first grade or something like that. That to me sounds like a lot of first graders, but I definitely wouldn't want her to be anything more than that. And so I would hope they would keep that under control.
Back to the going from class to class, and Trey made that's the first statement that's been made by all these people we've taped. how important that was from going from building to building. There, Mrs. Johnson had a very